Welcome to Getcha Rocks Off with Mick Wall, the world's leading rock and metal writer. Each fortnight, Mick will unpack rock and roll stories. Stories that you probably won't find in print. So pour yourself a Jack and Coke and get ready to get your rocks off.
Here we go.
Start with a temper tantrum.
Yeah, well, you know, I've just been given a lot of grief, unnecessary grief, uncalled for grief about my recording skills.
Well, you set yourself up as the engineer.
The engineer.
And all
hang
you
on. Yeah, go on, now keep talking.
Well, as I mentioned off microphone, just because you were in the studio when Hysteria was recorded doesn't mean you know how to record Hysteria.
Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear. I only gave Mutt a few pointers. A little bit more echo there, Mutt.
Don't trip over the lead and pull it out like I just did.
Yeah, okay, let's not go there, okay? Now, before we get started today on part 2, the fabulous part 2 of Getcha Rocks Off explores the enigma that is Axl Rose.
Yes.
We got a little...
Because we only began that exploration.
We hardly scratched the surface.
Yeah. If you remember when we finished, Axl was in his tracksuit. It wasn't a sport. It wasn't from Sports Direct, but it was like a Sports Direct tracksuit.
It was,
and he smashed his entire flat up.
It was kind
because
of
of
like,
something you wrote.
I actually looked out the original story yesterday.
Well, it's funny you say that.
And in the first, literally in the first page, it mentions the whole thing came from a John Houghton story.
See, well, yeah, you said, because it's strange, because I went home and I thought, well, Mick can't be wrong about this.
Mick's definitely not wrong.
Mick wouldn't tell...
Wouldn't tell any untruths.
No way.
Or rip off
so
the kids.
I got my copy of Use Your Illusion. I got it out and I thought, I'll put that song, I'll put Get in the Ring on. Because if I wrote the story that sort of really upset Axl, you know, he will have said so because that's what he was doing.
He does.
He said so
on the subliminal version. He
so
does.
I put the record on, and it said, Mick Wall at Kerrang, and I'm thinking he's going to say it now. He's going to say, but the person that really did this, really started this, was John Houghton.
That's right. And that's strange. Did you look in the liner notes?
He didn't say that.
Yeah, in the liner.
I didn't read the liner.
You didn't read the liner notes.
I don't have. I just got someone to tape it for me. I haven't got the album itself.
Okay. Well, we will get back to this fascinating subject momentarily, but first we have a little bit of information.
Promotional announcement.
Promotional announcement.
Yes, very exciting.
There is now official Getcha Rocks Off merch.
There's a Getcha Rocks Off store.
There's a Getcha Rocks Off store.
What about that?
How do we get there, John? How do we get there?
I think you go online, but I don't know how it works. It's something to do with the internet.
Yeah,
that's what I hear.
You can either check it out. Check it out.
Get your Google on.
Get your Google on, or go to the Getcha.
Hang on, I've got it here. I can hear it. Hang on. Look, I'm going to make an announcement.
Here we go.
Getchastore.com. GETCHASTORE.com/collections.
There you go.
We'll take you there. And what is collected, I might hear you ask. Well, there are so many products.
Is there a
There are
T-shirt?
so many products.
Yeah.
They are listed alphabetically.
Excellent.
So, if you want a pair of Tropicana briefs, if you want a pair of Tropicana briefs, I'm being serious. Tropicana briefs.
No, fuck off. No, what are you saying? That you and me are the new George and Andrew?
The first thing I want when I go to a store is I dress from the inside out.
Do you?
So I put on my undergarments first.
Oh, I thought you just wore them on the outside.
Well, that's when I go to the Tropicana. I just wear my undergarments.
Oh, okay. Let me stop you right there. Lest we lose more listeners by the second. I don't know what you're talking about, but if there is a pair of Club Tropicana pants, they ain't going to be there long. So if anybody wants it, they don't say get there quick. On them, do they?
Can I just say to the smart Alec that you were talking about earlier, who said, "Can we have a T-shirt that says I'm John and I interrupt too much?"
No. I'm going to read you the exact words because I've I've punched it up here. This is from Robert Cooper, a fine man.
Hello, Robert.
Yeah, I like Robert. And he says, how about a T-shirt that says, I'm John, and I interrupt, in block caps, every fucking sentence. You see?
That's it. That's a good. Listen, I'll sign up to that as long as I get my royalty. I don't care.
Your what?
My royalty.
Sorry, what? What's that? Get out of it, mate. You see that?
Listen, I'm telling you, if someone's spending $70 US on a tracksuit bomber top that says "Get in the ring,"
a tracksuit bomber top.
I'm just
Get the fuck. That's not. Look, you're being silly.
I'm not being
Fuck
silly.
off,
That is
you're
in
being
the store.
silly.
That is in the store.
So I'll tell you what is in
I
the
do
store.
like whoever's written this Black Muggeth, and it's a mug. Whoever did that, hats off.
Yeah, that was me.
That's a
through
good
one
one.
of my stuff.
Right under the picture of
that
me
I
in my
appropriate
briefs.
All credit from. Sorry, what?
Right under the picture of me in my briefs.
You see, I don't know. I
couldn't
honestly
do,
don't
Mick.
know what site
The-
you've gone to because that is not what I saw when I
they
looked.
came round here to do the pictures, but I sent them to you, and I sent them over to the farm and said get him to wear the XXLs.
Really?
But they weren't
And you
in.
see that one with the chick who's wearing the... I sent them to your house for the legs, because I know you like to shave your legs before you put your women's briefs on every morning.
Anyway, get yourself over to the Getcha Rocks Off store and spend your money.
It's all there. It's all
'Cause
there.
it's fun.
And what we'll do is, when we've actually bought ourselves a couple of the T-shirts, we're going to have pictures taken with them. And
Yeah.
here's what else. We're going to do some special...
They don't want a picture of you, though. But I tell you what, we'll do it back in the
you're
day.
all right.
You know
No,
when they,
you're
you know
all
when they
right.
do
No,
the,
you're
you know
all
when they
right.
do
No, I'm
those
fine. I'm fine.
you know when they do
I'm
those
fine. I just need a moment to
images.
process. No, you're okay. No, you carry on.
You know when they do those images where they, you so we'll
need to
get
take
we'll
a
get
breath.
one of you. You remember when you used to, as you love to say, have your MTV show and all the rest of it. If we get a picture from them and then and when you had the mullet,
Yeah,
and
fuck off. Okay, just fuck right off. We're going to have a picture of Coco the heavy metal pug
we are
in his studded collar.
because Coco's a boy. He's like Alice Cooper. He's got a girl's name, but he's a bloke.
Oh, don't let him hear you say that.
I don't name him say that.
Well, he's not here today.
I know,
Right.
exactly,
Maybe I should.
yeah.
I'm going to go get him. I'm going to go get him in a minute. And a kerchief. Got him a kerchief.
Yeah.
And we've got him a bandana. And he already had a leather jacket.
Yeah.
He already had that.
Yeah, he's got that.
Because he's a fucking bruiser.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Well, you've heard him snorting and snoring as he usually passes out. But yeah, so that's all there. Do check it out. Yada 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 yada.
Getchastore.com.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, I don't know about those underwear items. I don't remember. Okay.
They're the first thing I signed off on.
Of course they were. I think that's the John bra. If you go to that
It's called the John Collection. I've always wanted
No, it's called the Rocking John. Rocking John Collection.
Rocking John. Yeah. Splendid.
Oh dear! Someone did. I think so. I don't know if someone's already messing with it or if they're for real, but someone actually put up a pair of tracksuit bottoms. Axl's tracksuit bottoms. Get your rocks off.
Used.
1990
1990.
to
This all stemmed from, if you
1991.
listen to the last Axl episode, Mick was summoned round to Axl's gaff, his apartment. His apartment, probably by Axl's little brother, Stuart or
No,
something.
it was Axl.
Or Axl himself, whoever. Yeah.
Reading the shit in Kerrang that John Hotman.
And I said, did he have his leather trousers on? And Mick said, no, he was wearing a tracksuit.
I didn't fucking say that. I said in my mind now, all these years later, it's kind of like he was wearing tracksuit bottom. Do you know, the more I think about it, I think he probably was. Either that or shorts.
I think he was.
Or shorts.
He could have been wearing shorts because
Tartan shorts down to the
because
ankles.
he very soon
Turn-ups.
He very soon progressed to the kilt, didn't he? After this, I mean, the kilt
I
wasn't.
don't know. I
the
think
kilt wasn't far away, was
Did
it?
the kilt not come before that?
I don't know. I thought it was about Use Your Illusion. The kilt came along.
You know, now you mention it, that's a good... We could do a Getcha Rocks Off kilt, couldn't we? To go with your Axl...
But I think you need your own.
chimpanzee.
Don't you need your own tartan?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I guess.
We can do. That's no biggie.
Yeah.
That's no biggie. I was reading the other day that you could buy a square of land in Scotland, and you will officially become a lord with your own coat of arms.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see you now. I just
Yeah.
took my reading glasses off. There you are. So anything's possible. What are we talking about?
He's wandered off. I mean, off topic. We're going to go. We're going to continue.
We're going to go back to Axl.
Yes.
Now, as it happens, along with the extensive research that we do for this program, I happened to be going through some Axl-related material from the past just yesterday, and we could do another 10 episodes and still not get to the answer to the. I notice you're not interrupting. You took that to heart, didn't you?
I have, yeah.
You've taken it to heart. Hi, I'm John. I used to interrupt until I lost my mojo.
Yeah, till Robert came along.
Oh dear. Yeah, and so it's endless. It's endless.
Well, it won't be though, because we're not going to do 10
No,
episodes.
we're not going to do well. No, well,
Fear not.
Over the long run, the
long haul.
several years from now, we'll be
when
doing
we're
the 10th
scratching
episode.
around for a living. Yeah.
Like, what you mean we're not now? Okay. Right, so there comes this moment. Let's move it on then to when finally the 2 Use Your Illusion albums are coming out.
Thank God. Yeah.
Again, we could waste a whole episode on the lead up to that. There were legal battles. The record company, completely understandably, didn't see the marketing sense in releasing 2 double albums.
Well, this is where
simultaneously.
this was a stroke of genius from the sort of unsung hero of the story, really, which was Alan Niven, wasn't it? The Guns N' Roses manager.
I thought you were going to say Stephen Adler.
Stephen.
To me, he's the unsung
Did Stephen do the drums on Use Your Illusion, or was it someone else?
I think he does the drums on Civil War.
Does he?
And I think
appropriately
which,
enough.
Bizarrely enough, I think that's the one he got the sack over, isn't it? Obviously, he couldn't do the drums. He couldn't.
Oh, that's right. There was the whole thing about Stephen can't do the drums anymore
On Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War, because it's
No one
so
leaves
hard.
this room till Stephen does the drums.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do the drums.
No, we had things to do, places to be.
And that was one of his sayings. I bumped into him once outside the Hyatt House in about '88.
He said, "Hello, Ross,"
and I said, "I said, hello, mate. What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh man," he goes, "places to go, people to see." I'm like, okay, see you later then.
Stephen.
Which drug dealer are we talking about? God bless him. So
anyway,
join in
so
at any
Alan Niven. That's why I
point.
said Alan Niven came up with
right.
It was Alan Niven who sort of forced this idea through that they should do the 2 albums on the one day because it hadn't been done. Or I think Kiss did it, didn't they, with the 4
albums
solo
on one
out,
day.
but they were solo records, so it was a kind of a
And
raison
single
d'etre,
volumes.
because people were lining up for the Peter Criss one.
And also,
Oh, please let me hear the drummer's solo album. That's the one.
that's first in the
Yeah,
line.
that's first. The drummer, then the bass player, and then the other.
You know which the biggest selling of all 4 was?
No.
The Ace Frehley one.
Was it?
Yeah.
See, he was right. Ace was right.
Yeah. Space Ace.
The Space Ace.
Space Ace.
Yeah, it had a good cover, probably.
I bet it was of a man in a lot of weird makeup.
Yeah.
Do you think it might have been?
I think it
But
probably...
here's the thing. Back in those days, a Kiss album or a Kiss solo album would be, 40 minutes long, maybe?
Yeah.
I think
First track on Use Your Illusion
it's
is
about
longer
40
than that.
minutes long, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got loads of sort of 10-minute tracks and it's weird. They've got a load of really, not terribly brilliant tracks on there as well. Back Off Bitch.
Well, I think
I'm sure had B-side written all over it.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's weirdly, I saw this, there was a Yes documentary on TV, and I thought I'll watch a bit of it. Started watching a bit of it anyway. And they're talking about when they recorded Tales of Topographic Oceans. Which
Another
is
double album.
Which was their great sort of prog rock double album. And
with one track taking a whole of a side.
Rick Wakeman is the voice of honesty in that band. Well, John Anderson say, "Oh, we did this and we did that," but Wakeman goes, essentially what happened was we had too much material for a single record, So we decided to make it a double, but we didn't have enough material for a double. So they sort of fell between two. So they ended up improvising a whole side, which I think is side 3, the most notorious
That's
side
my
of
favourite
Tales of the Top of
side.
America. They just, they basically just made up a load of stuff and put it on there as quickly as they could.
Yeah, genius level.
Yeah,
art.
so I think maybe once the Niv had come up with this idea that let's do 2 double albums on the same day, all of a sudden you've got to fill up 2 double albums.
True, but we're talking CDs, So I think a normal CD by 1991 was about 60 or 70 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
A double CD.
Because
and then we're going to do 2 of them.
But to explain what had happened in the music industry was that the album cycle had gradually grown longer.
Yeah.
So you got to the point where Def Leppard, for example, would record and release Pyromania and would tour it for 2 years, and then would spend another 2 years making Hysteria and then tour that for another 2. So from the sort of early days of Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin or whatever, where they put out an album once every 6 months or once every year and they'd tour it, but the tour would only last a couple of months. All of a sudden we're on this huge scale.
Well, absolutely. And also the Use Your Illusion tour that then follows, I'm just going to turn this off,
it pings every time you sell a pair of panties. I've
got it
ting,
set, of course.
Ting, there they go. Ting.
If the word
ting.
panties appears anywhere on the internet, my
I'm
phone
telling you,
bings.
that Getcha Rocks Off store,
commercial
that
reasons.
Getcha Rocks Off store is like Marks and Spencer's reopening after COVID.
It is, isn't
There
it?
are people piling through the doors virtually. It's like when Use Your Illusion was released.
Yeah.
We've announced it. And now everyone's outside.
Yeah, I've just picked up another piece of information here. I just had a hot message from HQ, and they're saying that in fact the Axl gym pants are going to be strictly limited edition.
Yeah.
Limited edition.
The roomy ones you're talking about. The elasticated waist, because I
The
know
tartan
that. Look,
roomy ones.
I'm not. I'm not.
You're not one
I'm not
to
fooling
take the
myself
piss.
that everyone who listens to this show is 20 years old. I'm not under that illusion. Some people need the roomier items.
Well, elasticated waistband.
Elasticated
See, that's
waist.
the joy
Easy
of gym
fit.
pants.
Easy fit.
Well, rather like the easy pants I'm wearing today.
I
which
can't see them. I don't want to look at them.
some people say to me, "Why are you still in your pajamas?"
Yeah.
I go, honey. I go, no, not pajamas. No, easy pants.
See, it's that kind of cognitive dissonance where you think you look like Hugh Hefner, but in fact you look like someone shuffling around the park.
Like Axl in 1990.
Like Axl in 1990, he's
Yeah.
just discovered.
I just discovered easy pants. So, yeah. So, I'm
So
not
they
quite
release
sure
you
where-
anyway.
Oh, yes,
Use Your Illusion
yes,
comes out. Alan
yes.
Niven, genius. So it sells immediately. I think it goes to number 1 and number 2 in the charts. And this is at this point that the tour starts and what have you. That Axl's probably at his peak as a rock star.
Zenith.
Yes.
Say that again for those of hard of hearing. Zenith.
He's Zenith.
Zenith.
I mean, we all know about the
Xanax. No, Zenith.
The great thing about, or the terrible thing about Zeniths is there's only one way to go.
That's right.
Once you're at your zenith.
And he didn't just go. It's like he
It's like it was
crowd surfed into doom.
It's like it was Ski Sunday.
It was like it was Ski
he
Sunday.
was taking the black run
into a despond.
It was that guy Franz Klammer. He was Franz Klammer.
He was Metal
going down-
Franz Klammer.
Going downhill.
Metal Klammer, as they used to call it.
You think Franz Klammer went downhill fast. You ain't seen Axl Rose.
And he just kept going.
So who was the first to go? Adler was the first to go of the original lineup.
Oh, Adler sacked.
Sacked
Yeah.
in inauspicious circumstances.
Well, we're not going to go into the actuality for legal reasons here, but let's just say it wasn't.
We don't know what they are.
It wasn't musical reasons.
Musical differences.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's
that
what
at
it said
all.
on the press
No,
release.
it was either musical.
So I'm
differences-
sorry, Mick. That's what it said on the press release.
Oh, that must be
musical
true. Must be true.
differences.
He wasn't.
Steve
nervous
Madler has
exhaustion.
parted company with Guns N' Roses. The split is believed to be amicable. Axl said, "We wish Stephen all the best
We do.
in his future endeavours."
And this $2.5 million check, along with the non-disclosure agreement, proves just what friends we have partied.
Friends we are, yeah.
Yeah. So Stephen was the first to go for music. And then sacked. And then twice, in fact. And then... fired! Get the fuck out of here.
Stephen, you're fired!
Yeah. Stephen can't play the drums until fucking Morgan.
Yeah.
So he has other places to go and people to see, and off he goes.
And Axl and then someone comes in, some drummer, and Axl starts to see, hang on, people don't hate us just because one of the band has left. They still kind of like us.
Yeah.
Maybe another one of the band could leave. And they'd still like us.
Well, in fact, it's a bit more yin-yang than that, because he says, OK, so we got rid of one of the main original 5 cornerstone guys.
Yeah, one of the leading songwriters.
One of the leading songwriters and personalities of the band. A man I could have swapped places with and no one would have noticed the difference except vocals had improved.
Not in the drumming.
So, no, get rid of one, no one cares. Let's bring one in.
Yeah.
So he brings in Dizzy Reed.
Dizzy Reed. Dizzy Rascal.
Now,
Dizzy
if there was one
Reed.
band begging
for a keyboard
player, it was Guns N' Roses.
But he brings in a keyboard player and then also decides that he's going to play keyboards as well.
Yes, but
piano. He's going to play the massive piano that looks like a motorbike.
Yeah, and Dizzy's going to...
Dizzy's going to play the other keyboards that aren't on the record.
The Anything You Say keyboard. Anything You Say Axl
Anything you say,
keyboard.
boss. What do you want me to play?
So, no, there's a crucial musical difference here, which is that Axl is at the keyboard that's shaped like a giant Harley Davidson motorcycle.
Because that's when he's going to play November Rain. Because it's
exactly
in the cold November rain.
Sorry, what was that?
That's how he does it.
Go on.
In the cold November rain.
I don't remember that at all.
He certainly does that. We have to say, it's also got the greatest video. It's almost as if every video ever made for a song was coming towards
moving towards
November Rain. It's like the way movies move towards Citizen Kane, and then everything after that wasn't as good.
Yeah.
This is how.
So what you're saying is November Rain is like the Citizen Kane of rock videos.
You had Thriller and all that, where they go, let's do it, let's do it like this.
Let's do it
Axl
like
goes,
Zombie.
I'll tell you what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I'm going to get married.
I'm going to marry the bitch.
He didn't say that. He said, I'm going to get married.
Axl wouldn't say bitch.
Well, he probably
except
would.
in a song called Back Off Bitch, obviously.
He says, I'm going to get married. The blushing bride is going to be wearing a wedding dress, only the entire front of the wedding dress is going to be cut away.
Yeah.
In a dignified manner.
In a a romantic...
So you can see her Getcha Rocks Off underpanties, now on sale in Getcha store. Right?
That's a good idea.
And me old mate, who am I going to have as the best man? None other than me old mate, Slash.
Who I haven't spoken to for 2 years.
But he's not going to be at the actual wedding.
No.
He's going to be on a mountain.
Yes.
Playing a guitar solo.
Isn't that where the church
While I get married.
Didn't they get married in the little church on a cliff
The little
top?
church on the prairie.
Then as you come out
I thought the little church on the prairie, was down in the valley, wasn't it?
Was it?
I thought maybe, I don't know.
Really?
Because they had to do the helicopter shot because Slash's hair is...
That's the only bit I remember.
Slash's hair that by now is attached to the hat. When he takes it off. That's why he never took the top hat off, because the fucking hair's attached to
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Nicky Six taught him that.
Yeah.
Brett Michaels. But that's the only bit.
Brett Michaels taught him that.
Yeah, he did. Well, I think it was. I think in terms of chronology, Nicky taught Slash, who taught Brett.
Are you trying to say Nicky Six is bald?
No, God, I'm just saying. That hair he used to have always remind me of a. What they call a beezer, the guardsman in London.
A bearskin.
That's called a beezer or something, isn't it? It is. Fuck off. It's called like a beezer. It fucking is. Okay. Everybody Google and do some hate tweets to John. Hate tweets to John. So Nicky has this hair that looks like the hat of a guardsman outside Buckingham Palace.
He did, you're right.
I once made a joke that he took it off at night and put it on the stand, and the person I was making the joke to thought I was serious and that I thought it was a wig. And I had to endure about 40 minutes of being told, well,
It's
what
not.
an arsehole I am, which I'm used to
You
that.
used
Usually
to
that takes a bit
get
longer.
40 minutes of that every morning.
Every fucking day of my life. Thank you, Mrs. Wall. So I was making a joke. So I'm just making a joke now, except the joke blurs into reality when you get from...
When Slash takes his hat off.
So what you're saying is that Slash revealed to you exclusively on one occasion that in fact his hat and his hair
are one.
are R1. So when he takes the hat off, the hair goes with.
He tries to claim that he had the hat on for so long. 'Cause he kept the hat on for the whole Use Your Illusion tour. So eventually it all grew together.
Oh, really?
And it's like, like dreadlocks when they eventually turn into something that isn't really hair. But
Yeah, that happened to me, yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to me, yeah. So they released the 2 Use Your Illusion albums.
Well, we're talking about who left next.
Oh, sorry,
You said Dizzy Reader's joined.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Dizzy
So one in,
joined.
one out. But very soon there's a much more
Here
serious
comes Dizzy,
split.
and on his way in, passing him out the door, is Izzy.
Izzy.
So in with it, Dizzy.
Out
with Izzy.
And I think, to me, in a sort of slight note of serious, this is a big one because apart from the fact they were, if you think about Guns N' Roses, there's almost 2 pairs that you thought of at the making of the band of that Slash and Stephen were childhood friends.
2 pairs.
Yeah. Slash and Stephen were childhood friends, weren't they? School friends.
Oh, yeah.
And Axl and Izzy were also school friends.
That's true.
So they kind of had this,
And then there was Billy No Mate's Duff.
Duff, who
No
came up
friends.
from Seattle in
Yeah.
his
They just
leather
ignored
trousers.
him.
Yeah.
They didn't even know he was there half the time.
Well, he's the bass player.
He's the
bass
quiet
player.
one.
If he were to put out a solo album, it wouldn't be the first one would purchase. But
Well, that's all very well for you to say, John,
is,
but I
it is,
personally don't feel that way.
No.
I want to go on the record as saying I'm a very big Duff fan.
yeah, I'm looking. When I remember looking through your record collection, all the bass player solo albums you've got: Geezer Butler, Rick Savage.
Don't fuck with the 4 strings.
No,
That's what I say.
way.
Yeah. So back to Izzy. Izzy, that's a big one.
I think it's a big one, not just because him and Axl had the bond that was one of the longer ones in the band, but Izzy was in many ways the sort of the rock and roll heart of the band, in that he was the kind of, I suppose he's the sort of Keith Richards type player, low slung guitar, little bit sloppy, but it's good, it's good. Great writer, really understood what the band was about. And all of a sudden, I mean, with all due respect, we're messing around. Stephen leads, and Stephen, had his moments as a drummer. It's a great, had a good swing as a drummer.
Yeah, I much preferred him as a drummer. Matt Sorum is the better drummer.
Yeah, a real hard hitter,
but
and a strong.
Adler has
got that sort of swing, that.
Yeah,
I remember someone
slows
said,
down.
Well, yeah, they did, but someone, I can't remember who it was, said this, and it was a really good thing to say about drummers. He said the really, really good ones, because they're absolutely in time, but they're either just in front of the beat or just behind the beat.
Yeah.
And I think Stephen was one of those ones who was just behind, but it was in time.
Yeah.
It was just that real swing.
No, he definitely had. I mean, if you think of the beginning of Rocket Queen or something.
Yeah. But it's just, I think him and Izzy together had that kind of,
Loosh, kind of low slung,
that kind
tood.
of, yeah.
They had the tood.
They did, and that was the kind of rock and roll element of Guns. There's a more sort of grandiose element that was pretty much Axl and a little bit Slash, and there was a kind of a punk element that you might call Duff.
With Duff, yeah.
His input, So Izzy going, to me, was a big one, and it shattered not just the kind of musical centre of the band, but the sort of the.
It took away one really crucial element in that sound, I think, and you're right. I mean, Slash is pretty hard to beat when it comes to a fantastic guitarist to have in your band. Axl, impossible to beat. But Izzy just had that sensibility, that kind of Ronnie Wood, Keith Richards, It's All Cool Baby, even when the whole shit house is going down in flames, Izzy will survive. And if you're right, if you listen to Pretty Tied Up, that was the track I couldn't think of.
Oh, really?
I knew this chick down
Down
on
on
Melrose.
Melrose, yeah.
Pretty tied up. For me, easily, not just one of the best tracks on The Illusions, but one of the best Guns N' Roses tracks. Written and sung.
Is that what you call them? The Illusions? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
You call them the Illusions?
Yeah, that's what we call The Illusions, John, but I don't know what you call. You probably call them Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see the appeal of going the everyman route on that.
At risk of interrupting again, am I, Robert? Am I going?
You've taken that to heart now, haven't you? You've taken it to heart.
I've forgotten all about it.
No, his eyebrows are up in his head.
I've completely forgotten all about it.
You fucked it now, Robert. He's coming round.
What I was going to say, am I going nuts, or did they end up putting out a best of Use Your Illusion album?
What?
Where it had the best. It was like a
get out of it.
I'm sure they did.
That's a
Someone
great
will write
idea.
in. Someone will write in.
3.
Yeah, it was like it had the best of both, and it was a kind of budget.
The one I would want though would be the worst.
Yeah,
Use Your Illusion. So what would back off, bitch? I keep going on about it. It's one of my favourites.
You can ask me this.
Back off, bitch.
Honestly, if you said to me, name 6 songs from Use Your Illusion, from all the many there are to choose from, is there one about garden in your garden or something?
Yeah, I don't mind the garden. Yeah, it's not monumental, but Alice Cooper's on it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Dear.
I didn't mean that.
That's you off Alice's fucking Christmas card
I
list,
didn't mean that
isn't
to sound how it came.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, Alice, I love you.
Yeah.
John doesn't. No, well, believe it or not, when he comes in on that track, it does take it up a level, kicks it up a notch. But it's starting from a low point, isn't it? It's not the greatest.
So there's November Rain, there's Civil War, there's...
Okay, can I just say, I hate November Rain.
Yeah, but you...
No. I genuinely think that's a terrible track.
If you were sitting down...
I know that's his Stairway to Heaven.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you were sitting down to write the history of Guns N' Roses and you were to pick a track as a motif for what broke the band up...
Because it was shit.
You would pick November Rain.
Definitely. Yeah. And to me, it's the classic case of the artist not knowing when to stop.
Yeah. Yes.
If that had been a painting, at a certain stage, it was stunning, but then he kept going until suddenly it's this bizarre, ugly. I know one of Axl's dear friends used to always talk to him about how November Rain was like Layla,
right?
Because Layla, apart from the 3-minute good bit, it then has about 4 minutes of piano and whiny bitch guitar. This person was trying to say in a complimentary way, I'm really conscious of the fact you're not interrupting. I'm not comfortable with this. You need to fucking stop me at some point. Stop me! Stop me!
The more I'm just trying to prove a point to the listeners that actually, if I don't interrupt, it's not that good.
Well, they were saying it was like, it's up there with, I don't fucking know, Pet Sounds. Shut up. And
it's
but
up
it's
there
not.
It's up there with Gypsy Road by Cinderella.
No, let's not exaggerate.
And Girls' School by Brittany Fox.
Yeah.
What a song.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't reach the dizzy heights of Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue even, does it?
The Dizzy Dean Davidson heights.
Home Sweet Home.
That is one of the worst.
Because Vince can never wait to get home. Home Sweet Home.
Oh, dear.
I'm in Motley Crue. It's 1984,
and
I just want to go home, sweet home. I don't want none of what's going on here. Yeah. Why would I, as Vince Neil, age 25?
Oh, Vince.
So I'm not saying it's shit. I'm just saying it's so overrated.
Right.
And I think he at this point it's exactly where he was at. It's overindulgent.
Yeah.
He's being overindulged because otherwise, he flips out and makes everybody's life fucking miserable.
Yeah.
So they let him do it.
And he's chipping away at the lineup. And I'm sure at some point it occurs to him because everyone thinks, well, as long as Slash and Axl are together, the band will go on. Like Mick and Keith or whoever.
Yeah.
Vince Vince and Nicky.
Well, in fairness, that's kind of what happened. I mean, Izzy got completely railroaded
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a way.
but it gets to the point where Axl, but that's not what's happening in Axl's mind. In Axl's mind, surely, as we come to see, because we're going to have to, I know you want to do 10 episodes on this.
No, I don't want to do 10 episodes. I want to get my tracky bottoms sold.
Get them off, get the panties on.
Get your
panties on.
Get your tracksuit bottoms
You want to
off.
get your wig on. Your, what was it? Your bear skin.
Your
beezer.
Your beezer. Yeah, you look that up, kids.
Yeah,
learn something.
I will.
Learn
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. But in fairness, you can see why. Because Izzy walks out. It was a bit like when, Trump would do something insane. And you go, if that was any other president, this would have an impact. But with this guy, nothing matters.
That's a really good analogy. Everyone kept saying about Trump, someone will stop him in a minute.
No.
And they just didn't. No one ever
didn't.
did. And it's a bit like Axl. Yes, someone will stop him in a minute.
But they make they kind of build over it, and the train keeps moving. I remember sitting in John Jackson's office, Guns N' Roses talent booker agent outside America in those days, probably still is. Hi, John. And trying to have a meeting with him about another group, because he was on the phone the whole time, because Guns had got to Europe. This is the summer of '92.
You were sitting outside the office.
And
so
he's...
Mick Wall's here for a meeting. Click burr.
And every phone call was some promoter from Norway or Switzerland saying, they've just killed 2 people and set fire to the joint.
Yeah.
And now they're saying they won't play till 3 weeks from now at 2 a.m. And John would go, hey, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was the case. Every day there was a new fire to fight. So...
And in the middle of this, sorry to interrupt, but in the middle of this, they also lose Alan Niven, which...
Well, again, sacked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sacked
but an idiotic thing to do.
Well, yes, but like I say, I mean, that list is long and growing longer by the day at this point. I mean, one of the reasons let's be straight here, Axl fired Alan was because Alan would challenge him.
Yeah.
If you were to read, for instance, my book, I don't know if I've mentioned, I've written a book on Guns N' Roses.
Oh, that sounds good.
Called Last of the
Giants. Is it in the Getcha store? Should be.
It should
Have
be.
a word with them.
It should be.
Have
You're
a word
quite
with
right,
them.
John. You're quite right.
Yeah.
And he talks endless stories of times he pulled success from the jaws of failure when Axl didn't turn up, didn't like something,
This was the point, was that, and I remember Alan saying that his sort of management philosophy was whatever he was doing, if he was home, and I think it did sort of cost him personally quite a lot. It cost him a marriage and probably a lot of money and so on, was he would drop everything and go to wherever this, Norway or wherever this night was happening and sort it out himself, because they were basically unmanageable unless you really knew what you were doing. And he had his sidekick Doug Goldstein, didn't he? He was the sort of...
Well, by the time you get to the Use Your Illusion tour, it's Doug Goldstein.
I was going to say, but Alan and Doug were a great double act, because
like good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, and Doug was the guy when it all got really too much.
Yeah.
He was like the what was the guy in Pulp Fiction, the wolf.
He was.
Who turns up and
the wolf,
and kind
Mr.
of
Wolf.
cleans up the crime scene.
Yeah.
He was amazing at that. And
he was absolutely amazing at that. Yeah.
And so as all of this gets sort of whittled away by Axl's manias, you're left with something that becomes increasingly cumbersome and equally unmanageable.
So, because I'm conscious of the time, and we will return to this subject in various forms over the years, we know about the deterioration. After Izzy, it's a house of cards.
Well, eventually he does the unthinkable, and Slash goes. And then when Slash goes, and you're involved with the whole argument of, well, Axl owns the name, but at this point, it is just a name.
But by now, Axl's got rid of Dizzy.
Yeah.
He's brought in his mate, Paul Tobias.
Well, it's hard to keep track of who goes. There's a bloke who wore a Kentucky bucket on his head.
Well, Buckethead came in afterwards, but Paul Tobias played on Sympathy for the Devil, the version they did.
No, not the Rolling Stones version.
Yeah, no, the yes, and that was that was almost the last straw for Slash, because Axl was asking Slash to show Paul how to fucking play it. And Slash is going, well, I'm Slash.
Yeah.
Why don't I just
play
fucking...
I play it, yeah.
This is Guns N' Roses. Yeah. I am Slash.
Yeah.
There's a guitar that needs playing. Let me think. I know, let's get this guy who's never been in the group and can't play.
And doesn't know how to play it. Yeah.
Let's get him to do it.
Yeah.
Good old Paul. Hurrah, hurrah. Yeah. So there's this horrible kind of overlap where Axl... and I have a little dog that is part terrier, part sausage dog. We call her a Jack Sausage. And she is a fierce motherfucker. But she lived for a stray for the first 2 years of her life. And she's now like 11 or 12. And she still will go after any dog she sees out there, no matter how big and no matter how badly off she will become. Because it's just in her. She can't help it. And I think Axl, I'm not saying in a crude way, I mean it in a caring, sharing way. I do think he couldn't help himself. He was almost like a chess move in his mind. Slash walking out on him, Doug Goldstein told me, took a really, really long time for Axl to come to terms with.
Yeah.
And his way of coming to terms of ultimately is somewhat Trumpian in the sense that Axl is now a complete fucking arsehole, always was a fucking arsehole. I mean, doesn't Axl come out with that dreadful quote at one point where he says he hopes he dies of cancer and all this?
Yeah.
I don't think Axl really means those
No,
things.
he's lashing out, just lashing out.
But he is lashing out and trying to think of the worst thing he can possibly say to hurt the other guy.
Yeah.
Because he is hurt.
Hurting. Yeah, he's hurting
really
himself.
hurt.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about his life, you know, psychologically it's so difficult, from being abused as a child to having overwhelming fame and success to having a kind of, megalomania, and everyone, at one telling you you're great, relying on you for their living and every decision, surrounding you increasingly with yes men, because once Slash goes, once Alan goes, once Doug Goldstein goes, there is no one there to tell him, no. So he ends up with a guru, and he ends up living in the mountains with someone who was once his cleaner, who sees the main chance as well. No one telling this guy what to do. I'll tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And all these things, it has a kind of, it's a grandiose sort of rock and roll tragedy, but that is what it is.
Now, there is a whole episode to be done on Chinese democracy, which we will do in our when we get on to doing albums.
When we get onto the seas.
So let's not waste another hour trying to do that now.
No.
But Chinese democracy, here are the facts. 12 years.
This is exactly like the facts, all the other facts he's told you about why Axl put him in Get in the Ring.
Okay, between Spaghetti Incident being released at the end of 93, 94...
Don't look at me, I've got no idea.
And Chinese Democracy coming out end of 2008. What's that, 15 years? Call it 15 years. $13 million. And so many different people involved. Never mind a credits list. You need a book. And at the end of it, we end up with this album which... name me 5 tracks from Chinese Democracy right now. Quick, go on.
I can't name any of them.
Yes, you can.
I can't.
Chinese Democracy was a track.
Chinese Democracy.
Better, that was a good track.
Right.
Was there one called IRS?
Oh, there was, yeah. I should
good.
remember this, because we used to have our endless news stories about these are the things we know about Chinese democracy. Yeah.
Riyadh and the camels or something.
Yeah.
Riyadh and when the aliens from the pyramids. What was it? Riyadh and the whales or something. Riyadh and the...
It was something like that.
Riyadh and the geezers. Blokes. Riyadh and the fucking dudes.
Yeah.
You're just going to keep saying, aren't you? Help a body out here.
The only thing I remember about Chinese democracy is coming out and having to go and listen to it, to review it.
Right.
And it was another one of those ones where you can't, you can't actually hear it in case you remember some of it and tell someone on the street,
Well, can I tell you, I got a great story about Chinese democracy.
That's all we've got time for this week. So go on.
So at the time it comes out, I'd just been told when Axl and the Sidemen toured here in the UK in 2006, I was tipped off by somebody. Were you thinking of coming to the show tonight when it hit London? I went, I have got tickets. He went, don't come. I said, why? It's 2006.
Yeah.
He went, dude, he has a memory like a fucking elephant. And there's a list. And if you're on that list and you turn up, you ain't going to be here long and it's not going to be pleasant. So I didn't go. But I was thinking, he wouldn't even recognise me. It was such a long time.
Yeah.
And I've changed so much.
Can I just ask, because, as we've established, it was completely my fault that you ended up on getting it. Was I on that list? Because that's what he was annoyed about, was my story, he kept saying. So I presume I was on the list.
No, you see, your ruse in getting away with the whole thing still held good. This is why I feel sorry for Axl, because he was leaving out a chief supporter and emotional crutch in me, whereas the real villain of the piece.
Because I remember as well, this is another thing. I remembered later.
The Putin of the story.
Didn't they go and play at Wembley Stadium after Get in the Ring came out?
Yes.
And he did it again on stage at Wembley. He had a big list of people he did, and he ripped up an issue of Kerrang on stage.
I think Neil Jeffries was on that list as well, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because Neil was such a nice bloke.
No, he's never
going
to say anything horrible to anyone.
No, that's probably that's why Neil is now in a sanatorium somewhere. In a mask.
Yeah.
Long before COVID.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So there was a point. Oh, yeah. So that's all that stuff, right? It's 2 years later. Oh, and then in the remaining 2 years, they did a show again somewhere in London, and the record company woman, who I got on well with for other stuff, as well as the editor of Classic Rock, she said, "Do you want a couple of tickets?" I went, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll go." The tickets turned up the day after the show.
Yeah.
So I'm now starting to get a little kind of, I see, said the blind man. The BBC World Service, radio obviously, call me and say, I used to do stuff for an arts show they had now and again. Would you review Chinese democracy for us? I said, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And they went, okay, you have to go to Universal Records where they're going to play it to you. And I thought, this is not going to go well. So I turn up, and this kid, he looked about 12, and he was like, oh, hi, are you Mick? I was like, yeah, I'm Mick. Oh, yeah, it's about Guns N' Roses. I said, yeah, come upstairs. So I'm following upstairs, and he goes to me, so you're from, like, the BBC World Service? I went, yeah, that's right. And he went, so is that like, does that mean it's like, all over the world? I thought, I went, yes, that's BBC, the BBC World Service. Yeah, that's right. It kind of.
They really tried to nail it when they named it.
They kind of explained it. A lot of people have heard of it, not this bloke. Yeah. So he takes me up to this room. He opens a door, and there it is, open up on a gold CDs, weirdly, but opened up with a. He goes, do you know how to do this? I went, I can figure it out. He goes, do you want a coffee or anything?
Did he stop talking in that voice?
No. He said, would you like a coffee? A coffee? I said, yes, I'd like a coffee. You universal toady. You
lackey.
You
lackey.
Blurred gender. Yeah. Lovely guy. And he fucked off. And I'm sat there thinking, I wish Axl could see this right now.
If he could see me now. Look at me now, Ma.
Look at me now,
Top
Axl.
of the world.
Hey, get in this ring, Axl. Yeah. Get in the ring with your new CD.
All those listeners in Papua New Guinea to the BBC World Service. I'm about to trash.
I'm about to
Chinese democracy.
About to school Axl
in rock and roll.
I'm going to learn him.
Put on Riyadh and the Camels. See what I think about it. Put on what was it?
So I put it
IRS.
So I put it on. I did put it on, and you're sitting there on your own.
It goes on and on.
You know what I mean? It gets to like 40 minutes.
You start to think, is this room? Have they got like a camera or something? If I skip it on, will they know?
And no one was paying any mind. They're
Yeah.
just all going about their business. You know, oh, it's lunchtime. What should we do for lunch, Miranda?
Which actually weirdly, and I've just thought of this, weirdly shows how kind of Axl's power had probably slipped at the record company.
Yeah.
As those generations had changed in between him releasing the records. All of a sudden there's a new generation of people and he's not that important and no one gives us stuff. Hang on, you've let his major enemy into, and you've left him alone with his...
Yeah.
No one cares
and
anymore.
You've made him a coffee.
If that had, you made him a coffee. If that had happened with Use Your Illusion, you know, Niven would have entered the studio with a machine gun.
Yeah, a hitman would have been waiting to bump you off.
Doug Goldstein would have had the full Wolfman kit on.
Absolutely.
Ready to splatter you over the walls.
And thrown
You'd
you
have
out
been
the
in a
window.
car boot on the way to wherever.
That's right, mate. That's the way things should be done.
Now you're being served a coffee. And asked whether you think it's any good or not.
No, they didn't even ask me that. They were like, "Oh, you're from." Was it the World Series? So does that go like around the world?
Yeah.
Yes, it does, Sebastian. Yes. Yeah. And they're all going about, you know, having their fucking, you know, organic chickpea for lunch or whatever it is they're doing, you know. Oh, is that the cucumber water? Can I rub it on my nipples? Yes, you can.
Not that the new generation has made him at all bitter.
So I'm sitting there listening to Riyadh and the fucking humpback whale, and it's like Harry Potter, isn't it? Riyadh and the pot of shit.
Oh, look, he's gone. He's lost it.
And what was the James Bond theme? He had a brilliant kind of Shirley Bassey kind of number on there. Not is this love? If it's love, is it love? What the fuck is love? Something like that. And it to me, it was like would have been a brilliant James Bond theme. It was like,
the ultimate.
Do you know where the fuck you are? Kind of like that. You know the one.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Oh.
If it's
Stop
good.
asking me. Anyway, so you do your review.
Well, no. Here's what happened. I'm sitting here. It's fucking 2 double albums.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
It's not 2 double albums, is it? It's Chinese Democracy.
Oh, sorry, it's Chinese Democracy. Oh, it just felt like 2 double albums.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was on 2 CDs. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And it gets to the point where you've got to put the other CD in. I'm like, I can't be.
I'm just going home.
No, and also by then, so many of the tracks have been released as bootlegs online.
Yeah.
I mean, Riyadh, I was completely over familiar with that one already.
Yeah.
There was a time. That was another one. That was a great track.
Yeah.
And what I loved about that was it was always done as an acronym. TWAT.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I thought, is that deliberate?
Yeah. It's like Axl Rose being an anagram of oral sex.
Is it?
No.
Is it?
No, it's not, is it? Because it's not, but everyone said it was.
For twat, isn't it?
It's not an anagram, it's an acronym.
Yeah, there you go. Fuck with me, Professor of English. So, I'm bored, okay? Not because it's not a good album, but because, you know...
now or then?
In the room listening to...
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you
I'm
were just making an announcement. I'm bored. I'm going.
So, that's how I was. I'm like, oh, fuck this. I'm leaving. So, I went to see if I could find, you know, Julian or whatever his fucking name was, and I couldn't. So I just fucked off. I thought, should I take them with me, the CDs? Will anybody even know?
Yeah.
And in the old days, I would have taken them, and there would have been a kerfuffle. But I just thought, I'll take them, and no one will know or care.
Yeah.
And it's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there, does it make a sound? It was like that. I felt I was in the bizarro world, so I just fucked off.
Yeah.
I went to the BBC studios, gave it a very, very positive review, because I do believe it is a great piece of work. It's just not a Guns N' Roses album. So that's you can interrupt now.
That's great.
Thank you for sharing.
Great story.
Thank you, lovely. Yeah. Any more good stories like that?
So next time on Getcha Rocks Off.
No, come on, let's bring it home now. We've been at this too long now. Come on. Present day, when you first heard they, meaning the 3 of them, they were getting back together, were you like me thinking, well, about time. I mean, this has always been on the cards, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was an air of inevitability about it, because Slash is he's a sort of happy-go-lucky kind of guy, isn't he? You know, he's a bit, he's not full Tony Iommi. Hey, Tony, I was just standing there and Ronnie Dio turned up. He's not quite like that.
No.
But he's let bygones be bygones.
He doesn't want no fuss.
Let's be honest, he probably doesn't remember a lot of it.
Well, when Slash gets home at night and he takes off the hat and the hair, and puts on his tracking.
And he's just another bald man.
Can I just say, irrefutably, Slash is not
bald. He's not bald.
Okay. So, I just thought, okay. It's funny because I was talking to Izzy about it a few years before that.
Name drop.
And I said,
dropper.
Would you... Surely you would. He said, listen, me, Duff, Slash and Stephen, he said, we could go in and get a new album done in 2 weeks, basic tracks.
Yeah.
He said, but then Axl would have to come in and do vocals. He said, and that's you gone then for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's never going to happen, not with Izzy. I said, but what if he rang you and said, and he goes, I'm broke. I went, what? He goes, you said, imagine if Axl...
right, yeah.
He said, he goes, that's what, if Axl rings me to put the band back together, how I imagine it is, the first words are, I'm broke.
Yeah.
So we need to...
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying Axl was broke, but when I was doing my Guns N' Roses book, Last of the Giants, which I'm sure everybody has read and can order at Amazon in case they haven't, the updated version, the final Guns N' Roses shows when it was Axl and all the other re-ads, I think they were getting about $400,000 per show. Yeah. The first show they did back with Axl did back with Slash and Duff, 2.5 million. Yeah. And that was a guarantee, meaning they would earn a lot more. And then the merch, then the back catalogue.
It was a huge tour, wasn't it? I remember.
And it would still be going on if it wasn't for COVID.
Well, if it wasn't for Axl joining AC/DC.
Well, no, the tour even went on after that.
No, I know.
By the way, I thought he was great in AC/DC.
Oh, so did I. Didn't hear it.
Didn't hear it. Fucking YouTube, mate. You don't have to hear it, do you? Just go to YouTube. It's all there.
I was the one I got that story from Arlette.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Was this you fucking with the kids again?
Yeah, I was.
Printing lies and
for
starting
some
controversy?
reason, I think it was Classic Rock said to me, "Can you do something about this?
To me.
You know Arlette. Can you find out something about this tour, the Guns N' Roses tour?" It's coming back to me now.
Explain. Arlette was
their publicist. So get in touch with Arlette, and they're rehearsing. And she had gone to the rehearsals. They were Slash. Who was it again? You're shaking your head. I can't remember their names. Axl, Slash, and Duff.
You can't remember their names?
Yeah, that's it.
You can't remember their fucking
Axl, Slash,
names?
and Duff. She said they've hired an aircraft hangar thing because it's a full production rehearsal. They're in there. It's great. Yada, yada, yada. And by the way, you're never going to believe this, but Axl's going to sing with AC/DC. And I was like, Axl's going to, okay. Yeah, and it took a minute to compute. And I thought, is this just, are you just flying a flag here, just seeing if I'll just run anything?
Yeah, are you just printing lies?
Yeah, just
and
printing
ripping
lies.
off the kids as usual?
Was it you who told me about Vince and all those years ago? No, I didn't. No, she was great.
No,
she was great.
I got the story. You did an interview with Vince.
She was great. She really...
You did.
She really... And she tipped me off. And I tipped off Classic Rock and they didn't run it because they said, I don't believe that.
No, yeah, they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Back in 2002, when I was the editor of Classic Rock...
You were the idiot.
I broke the story of that they wouldn't be coming over here to tour. And Metal Hammer ran it.
Is that a story?
Yeah. Well, no, they went insane at the record company, promoters. Yeah. And all of them were going, they all broke like matchsticks. Because I said, you can't tell anybody got it from me. They were, Mick Wall told us! Mick Wall! Get him in the ring, not me! Yeah. So I had loads of phone calls from people. And I just said, yeah, but I've got the facts. And I'm like, listen, I don't care what you've got. It ain't happening. And sure enough, 1 week later, it wasn't happening.
It wasn't snow on the roof.
And they were like, how did you know? I said,
I just knew.
Contacts, old boy.
Yeah, contacts.
Contacts.
That's what it's about.
You see? Contacts.
That's it.
That's it. So, but when they do get back together, here was my thought.
Boring.
I'm glad because...
it's just another nostalgia show. That's all it is. It's great.
A jukebox act. There's no new record. No one wants a new record.
No, they don't. It's like...
They say they do, but they don't.
I either did or didn't have the chance to see them at their best. So I'm going to go and see them now and relive that experience. Yeah.
The same as AC/DC.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless Bon Scott is fronting that group,
Yeah.
and Malcolm's in the group, and Phil Rudd's in the group.
Malcolm Dome.
Yeah.
I'd go and see that. I'd go and see that.
Axl on vocals, Malcolm Dome doing what Malcolm Young used to do.
Yeah, used to do. That would be great.
Yell at people, be abusive. No, I'd definitely see that. Or, I mean, when I saw Led Zeppelin at the O2, they had Jason on drums. So this is literally the best it could ever be to see Zeppelin apart from the 70s.
Yeah.
And they were magnificent. But it wasn't Led Zeppelin of the 70s. Of course it wasn't. But it is what it is, you know. So, yes, of course. I just thought, well, this is great. This is great for them. The main one I was pleased for, funnily enough, was Axl because... Slash and I had stayed in touch. Duff and I haven't had a lot to do with each other, but it's not like we're
We're off down anecdote memory lane now.
No, God, no.
Me and Duff, me and Izzy,
me and Stephen, like that.
Yeah, like that.
When he doesn't mistake me for Ross, which he usually does. Slash, good as gold. Fantastic.
Good as gold.
Really, really cool. So it was Axl, and I just thought, my God, if he can do this without storming off stage or coming on late, that I think will represent something in his personal life which is good.
Yeah.
And lo and behold. But I'll tell you one little thing before we go. The real reason they got back together, there's always money. And I think that's as good a reason to do anything.
Absolutely.
For instance, if you wanted to buy a nice shirt or a baseball cap today, or a pair of ladies' knickers with John's picture on it, that's good. But the real reason, same reason for everything: love. Axl had recently, I should say, got back, reconnected with a very, 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 very much loved person from his past, who also happened to be very good friends with a girl who was Slash's big love just before Guns N' Roses got huge. In fact, this is the other way around. Slash reconnected, and then this girl, because she was a friend of this other person, helped Axl reconnect. And essentially, that was the glue that allowed them to stop hating on each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even before Velvet Revolver, they were talking about getting back together. But Duff and Slash are insisting that every time you walk off and there's a massive fine for a curfew, every time you get thrown in jail, every time something fucks up, that's fine, but it comes out of your pocket, not ours.
Yeah.
We don't lose because of it. You lose. And that was the deal breaker for Axl. But they're back. Are we glad to see them back? Is Axl better?
Better than what?
He used to be.
No, of course he's not.
I mean, you mean as an
you're talking about a singer. Oh, yeah, because I think ultimately, age sort of claims everyone. You're never at that sort of,
Although we do have the technology now, don't we? We have the technology.
But that kind of sinewy, sensual peak that he had.
Especially that thing he used to do.
Yeah, with the kind of sidewinder.
Cobra.
You
can't do that anymore.
Those days are gone. No.
He looks like one of those dolls. If you push over, it stands up again.
And that kind of the sheer
less of a cobra, more of a penguin.
Yeah, the kind of overwhelming intensity they had as a band. That's never going to be there, and it's never going to be there in a stadium. So I think no, they're not what they were. But if you want to go and see a facsimile of that and have a good night out for £100, be my guest, as I say. I would rather spend the money in the Getcha store and watch the video on YouTube when they used to be good. That's the answer to the question.
It's funny you should say. Oh, I was going to say, my final point then is I saw Kiss play 2 or 3 times in 2019. and that's just Paul and Jean plus two other guys. It's not the real Kiss.
Who you've singularly failed to learn the names of.
That's so not true. I could name you every lineup of Kiss there's ever been.
God, who is it now? Just tell me who it is now.
Well, we'll save that
now.
for next time.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's Tommy Thayer on guitar. Everybody knows that. And you can name the drummer. Oh, you can't name the drummer?
I don't know the drummer.
Well, we'll keep you in suspense till next time. But all I'm saying is I totally enjoyed those shows. And it had nothing to do with the way I would have enjoyed them.
Had nothing to do with the fact they'd given me a luxury cabin on their cruise liner.
Nothing whatsoever
Actually,
to do with that.
I was on deck with a cocktail. I heard them in the background. They sounded very good.
They were
Very
amazing.
good. You took your friend from the record company. He bought you a little...
They were amazing.
Bring you a coffee.
They were absolutely amazing. And so are Guns N' Roses. And I got to say, no, seriously, thank God for Axl Rose. Why aren't there more singers like Axl Rose?
Oh, because there can be only one.
Oh, and on that note...
On that bombshell.
See ya.
If you liked this episode, be sure to leave us a review, share it with a friend, or plain old subscribe wherever you happen to listen to it. For full episode show notes, visit nofilter.media/Getcha Rocks Off.
This has been a No Filter Media production.
Say what you want.